Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Here I am in one of my hot weather superhero outfits. As always, it starts off with the slippers, nice and comfortable, and may I say, festive. Then the comfortable race t-shirt, because yeah, I did that. Finally, also a nice comfortable hat. As I mentioned in a previous video, anxiety and depression are byproducts of the chronic illness that I'm living with, long COVID. In the 2 years since getting this illness, I've tried to maintain a positive attitude. I had included some of what I'm about to talk about in a previous video, but then deleted it. My family, simply put, thought it was too depressing. After all, I try to make my videos hopeful, accentuating the positive. But my family also suggested I do a video that's kind of a day in the life of, or how I get through the day having long COVID. The problem is, no 2 days are the same, whether from a physical capability perspective, a mental perspective, and that being cognitive function, or a general attitude outlook perspective. Bottom line, if you're living with a chronic illness, some days are just better than others. And some days I feel myself sinking. So I want to talk about that. Letting you know up front, I consider my anxiety and depression mild to moderate. My anxiety and depression have never gotten near the point where I consider doing something drastic like self-harm. Having said that, a few days ago, my anxiety and especially my depression were triggered pretty good. I was out walking on a trail that I hadn't been to in a long time. The trail's hilly, but I figured, hey, I'm going to take it easy, I'm going to go at a nice relaxed pace, and I'm going to turn around before I start feeling too tired. I used to be an ultramarathoner, so taking it easy has been a challenge, really a lesson that I've had to repeat and learn over and over again. If I do push it, I run into that most dreaded of my superpowers, post-exertional malaise. On that particular day, I did take it easy. I took a nice relaxed pace. When I started to feel just a little bit fatigued, turned around and I went back down, and it worked out really great. Now, I had walked the day before as well, so I had put in back-to-back days of physical exercise. The post-exertional malaise never set in. Success. Because of this, I started to think about how I could go farther, how I could increase, especially on that particular trail. Maybe I could get to the top of that first main hill. Now I've got a goal, and that's part of keeping that really positive outlook. Unfortunately, something else then started to happen. I started to reminiscing about all the old races I had done, about the adventures of all the trails that I've been on before, and when I feel that way, it's usually a really positive thing as well. I have joy in thinking about it. But at this point, I started to think, am I ever going to be able to do anything like that ever again? Or are those days gone forever? And yeah, thoughts of not being able to do what I used to be able to do get to me from time to time. And if you're like me, dealing with a chronic illness, these kinds of thoughts may get to you as well. I feel my mind getting into a loop, dwelling on the negative, and then it's really hard to pull myself out of that hole. And when I'm in the hole, I tend to isolate, and that only exacerbates the situation.
Now, what does exacerbate mean?
It means to make things worse.
Right.
I'll say again that these periods when I dwell on the negative are the exception rather than the rule. I really do need to document that this does happen and what I do when it does. When I'm in the hole, I remind myself that I don't know what the future is going to bring. That's tougher the worse I feel. When I'm in the middle of a bout of that post-exertional malaise, every kind of activity is tough. A big activity might be moving from one room to another. Hey, I went to the bathroom. Hooray! Now, a big disclaimer before we continue. I am not a medical professional. I'm not any type of therapist, nor am I trying to replace one. What I'm discussing here are simply those things that have worked for me. And if you've got things that work for you when you get into a funk, please make a comment and share them with everybody. I try not to dwell on what may happen or may not happen at some point in the future. I know that my 100-mile race days are over. Probably even my marathon days are over. But there are shorter races out there. Are some of them possible? Maybe, maybe not. The point is, I don't know. So, fixating on the negative is just seriously detrimental to me. But here's what I can do. I can set a goal that I believe is realistic. And if necessary, I can modify that goal and continue forward. Occasionally, with what I consider are realistic goals, that stinking thinking sets in. Are these goals actually realistic, or am I just being delusional? And I might be exaggerating my capabilities, but I prefer to set those goals and stay on the positive side. So yeah, I prefer to believe.
I don't care what you believe. Just believe.
And that's one of the things that I focus on to help get me out of the funk. But it's not the only thing I focus on. For me, getting out of a funk when I'm in it, when I find myself sinking in that hole, well, it's not an instant process. I have to work on it. Indeed, I make a concerted effort to concentrate on the positive. And when I think about this, I am specific in my focus on the things that are good in my life at that moment. If you're someone that works a 12-step program, you're going to recognize this as what's known as a gratitude check. And these gratitude checks can be short or long. You tailor them to your situation at the moment. Make a list of the things you're grateful for. And these can be big things or little things. Just think about everything you're grateful for. And it's important to include things that you take for granted. Do you have a roof over your head, running water, an indoor toilet that flushes? And right now you may be thinking to yourself, well, these are really ridiculous things to put on a list. Of course you have them. Well, lots of people in the world don't, so be grateful. Gratitude checks are great because they put our negative thoughts into perspective. I'm stuck in my house because I really don't have the energy to do anything else on a particular day. But there's food in my fridge, and everybody in my family, including all my kids and grandkids, are healthy. And I prefer to dwell on that kind of thought. Start your day with a simple, short gratitude check. And if you find yourself getting into a funk, you can end the day with a gratitude check as well. It may be difficult, but it can be done. I have to say that it took me a long time for me to be grateful about things. At a young age, at a primarily subconscious level, I always thought that the good times were just interludes between the bad times. And I acted on that subconscious belief. I was often greedy and selfish. And of course, this kind of behavior was a major factor in why the good times ended. Although at the time, I was just oblivious of that. After some decades, I finally figured out that this way of life sucks. And I didn't realize how much it weighed me down until I was finally able to let go of it. Now, instead of feeling that righteous indignation anytime something didn't go my way, I put it aside and focus on the good. It's just a much more enjoyable way of life. Next, do anything you can to curb those feelings of helplessness. Some of the things I'm doing, well, I'm making these videos. And by the way, thank you to the tens of you who are following me. I also recently participated in a drug study that might be helpful for people who have long COVID, just like me. There are other drug studies out there, and I might participate in one of those as well. These activities make me feel like I'm doing something about my current predicament. Doing something, even in a minor way, is helpful. Okay, here's another big one. Don't isolate. Make those human-to-human connections, even if that means being on your phone or your iPad while in bed. Now, if you're like me, sometimes when you isolate, you kind of get into your own one-person pity party. Well, talk to somebody, leave that pity party behind. There are online forums you can be a part of. As an example, Reddit has forums where you can talk to others with chronic illnesses, specifically with long COVID. This can be a powerful tool in understanding that you are not alone. There are a crap ton of people with this illness. Indeed, it's been measured at 1 metric crap ton. Fun fact, the word crap did not originate with the British plumber Thomas Crapper, although he might have made the term popular. Now, one note about online forums. Occasionally, folks within these forums can fixate on the negative. They talk about the problem of long COVID and how it affects them. As they say, identifying the problem is halfway to the solution, but it's not the solution. Identify the problem, but don't fixate on it. Start talking about how to solve it, or at least how to reduce it. Bottom line, determine what works for you. You may try something that really doesn't work, and that's fine. Let it go. Try the next thing. As you can see, I've got a number of tools in my toolbox just to help me, things that I've discovered through trial and error that work for me. Speaking of which, another activity that works for me is unplugging and getting outside. I made a recent video that talked about the benefits of doing this, and I'll provide a link to that video below. And these benefits include increased physical capability, increased cognitive function, and reduced anxiety and depression. Granted, when I'm deep in a bout of post-exertional malaise, getting outside could mean sitting at a window and looking out. But even this helps, or it could mean getting out and going for a drive. I recommend having somebody else doing the actual driving. That way you can just sit back and relax and just enjoy the great outdoors. Also, and let's be frank, the whole amount of effort in just driving might be too much. Again, when I got that post-exertional malaise going on, I know I should not be behind the wheel of a car. Finally, and I'm saving the big one for last, seek professional help. What I've been discussing here does not take the place of meeting with a professional. As I mentioned earlier, if you've got an exercise, got an activity, thought process, whatever it is that helps you when you get into that funk, please share it in a comment below. And if you've got a topic you'd like me to discuss in a future video, comment about that as well. And as always, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with others. I hope this video has helped, even if just a little. With that, I've got to scoot.